Good evening, and welcome to a new series on Gamehiker. We are starting Odallus, the Dark Call, which you may remember from a Game Hater episode not so long ago. And if you don't remember, that's okay. You can just start a new file.
Yeah, and it's getting promoted. Second time we get to do it, so pretty exciting.
Living the dream.
It's the kind of thing that most Game Hater games aspire to do, but very few ever get selected.
So many fail.
So many are just unworthy.
So this game is basically Scottish Castlevania.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's Scottish Castlevania, and it's the original Castlevania game, but more of the exploration type of gameplay that we didn't really get with the original Castlevanias.
Yeah, it's a nice balance between the two styles. So it still has a strict level structure, but there's alternate paths you can open. I found items in one level that open up paths and levels I'd previously beaten.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's all good. And
this
actually,
is definitely a more interesting take on the game.
Yeah, attractive graphical style looks a lot like Castlevania 3, and I'm sure that was on purpose. And Castlevania 3 looks a lot like Castlevania, which may not have been on purpose, but they worked with what they had.
You know, I would hope that Castlevania looks like Castlevania, but I mean, if you look at some of the recent Castlevania, they don't look anything like Castlevania. No. So,
well, I said that because Castlevania 2 actually had a slightly different art style.
Oh, okay.
But 3 went back to pretty much the same color scheme, even of the first game.
Right. I was just thinking of the Castlevania fighting game with its wildly different character designs.
Yeah. And then, there's something of the night that those sprites got reused over and over again. Actually, a lot of those came from Dracula X, I think. The Japanese Dracula X.
Yeah. And we sadly reminisce of those times we got to play those games, and wait for the time when we finally get to play Bloodstained and get a proper Castlevania game again.
Yeah, it was so weird, the recent 3D ones. I can't remember what year it was, 2009 maybe? The continuity reboot, Mercury Steam ones.
Yeah. And I didn't really understand why they did that, because I would have thought that the Castlevania series was doing just fine. You just had Order of Ecclesia, which I thought was a pretty well-received game.
Yep.
And it was a really good game, too. So, I was like, why would they not keep going on with that? Especially with the 3DS being, a perfect platform for that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that we never got a real Castlevania game on 3DS. And, I think I need a key. Yeah. What was I going to say? I think part of the problem is that the 3D Castlevanias always kind of sucked.
Right. It's one of those series, it's one of their big series, but they're never able to, transition it into 3D until, someone made Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then they had to compete against the real Castlevania games, so they decided to make fake Castlevania games, I guess.
Yeah.
This guy. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed Lords of Shadow. I didn't play the second or the third one in that series, but the first one was alright.
Okay, well, I never actually played any of them outside of, the Symphony of the Night type games anyway, so...
Yeah, so Lords of Shadow got a direct sequel. It also got a 3DS game. And they just ran right over the continuity of the previous games. You ready for some spoilers?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Here they come, yeah. So, the first game had a dude named Gabriel Belmont. And, he solved some Tom's Vampire problem and ended up becoming Dracula.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. We already had a character do that.
We did.
His name was Soma.
Soma Cruz, yeah. And I think there was a guy in one of the PlayStation 2 games that turned into Dracula 2. He was like some proto-Belmont's best friend or some junk.
Right.
Let's skip this dialogue. Go watch Game Hater if you want the dialogue.
Yeah, if you want to hear me do my terrible Scottish accent.
Better than mine.
Yeah, it was there, available for everyone to hear.
So where am I going? So yeah, you got Gabriel Belmont, who became the first Dracula, well, the only Dracula in that series because it's dead now. And then there was a 3DS game wherein Trevor Belmont bursts onto the scene, and he's ready to whip some vampires in the face, culminating in him also being turned into a vampire, taking on the name Alucard. And then his son Simon goes in for revenge. So they ruined everything.
Wow. What were they even thinking?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they wanted to be all like edgelord about a Belmont becoming Dracula, and again, it was a mess.
Right.
And I'm sure Grant Dynasty wasn't even in the game.
Man, what's the point of even having Castlevania where you don't have Grant Dynasty in the continuity somewhere?
Right, it's ridiculous. Especially, I mean, if you're going to riff on Castlevania 3 and then not include Grant Dynasty, you're not trying. And Grant Dynasty always gets the shaft.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's this cool pirate character. Like, why wouldn't you want to have him in your series?
I can't think of a single reason, yeah. He's basically a combination of... Oh, no.
Dead.
Combination of Spider-Man and pirate.
Yeah, because Castlevania 3, that was the one where you had, like, 3 different characters you could play, right?
Yep. 4. Trevor, Sypha, Belnades, I think, and Grant Dynasty and Alucard.
Gotcha. Yeah, see, so I sort of came into the series with the Soma Cruz games. Like, I went back and played Symphony of the Night, but that was definitely my introduction to the series. Cause, like, I'd always known about it, but anytime I'd ever, like, really tried it, like, the old Castlevania games never really worked for me.
Yeah, and those are 2 of the best of the Metroidvania style ones. Was it Dawn of Sorrow was the DS one, and there was some other Sorrow thing.
Yeah, I think on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, Aria of Sorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, by the way, is another place where Grant Dynasty got shafted. Dawn of Sorrow had a secondary game mode where instead of Soma Cruz, you're playing as
Julius Belmont.
And he can transform or swap out for Alucard or a magic woman.
Yeah, it was Yoko Belnades, I think, or Belnades, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so the same family even.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, dude.
Or, you could play the main game where you get to play as Soma Cruz and, go and kill a JFK.
I do not remember any presidential assassinations.
Well, you have to, like, play the game completely to the end, and get everything to be able to do that. I mean, it's not easy assassinating a U.S. president.
Well, it's just the sort of thing Dracula would be trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's, kind of like training for Soma.
Oh, this section, yeah.
Oh, yeah, fire.
This section takes a while. Got to be careful. Yeah, as much as I profess to love Castlevania games, my success rate in actually beating them is shockingly low.
Yeah, I mean, outside of like the ones that are straight Metroidvania style, I no luck with any other games.
Well, even then, the Metroidvania games always end up having tons and tons of grinding in the end game.
Yeah, I don't think I had too much trouble, but it's been so long since I played them that I honestly couldn't tell you if I had like a lot of difficulty towards the end or not, or if I ended up cheesing things or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they were RPG games, so I mean, you could just grind, and I was younger, so grinding wasn't like necessarily an issue. So
yeah. More free time you are, the less frustrating grinding can be.
Exactly.
Well, I'm making much better time, I think, than Gamehiker.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because Gamehiker, we took like a good half hour getting about this far.
Yeah.
And used up that store so many times. You've only been to that store once so far.
I know, yeah, that was certainly a mistake, and probably worth a restart for it, actually, because the prices go up every time you buy anything.
Right, which we really didn't test to see if that carried over through levels, though, did we?
No. That's right, we got the hard upgrade. Man, what a great day. I bet I missed a hard upgrade because I was rushing through the other level.
Yeah, I mean, we might have to backtrack later, but...
Yeah, we'll get the gauntlets, too.
We don't need anything from you, dude.
Oh, full health. I'll take my checkpoint and go. So this is, I think, is the section where I have to light some statues on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if that's really the case. I know that section's coming. I don't know if I'm there yet.
Yeah, I don't think it quite looked like this, because I felt like there were like statues in the middle of the area.
Yeah,
I think we saw those already.
Yeah, so I'm going backwards. Let's not do that.
Those little pots of whatever spitting those things out are quite annoying.
Oh, let's just spin these, yeah. Total Metroid move, though.
Yeah, I was like, how dare you put Metroid in our Castlevania?
Oh man, I need the sword upgrade so bad. Taking 4 hits to kill some puny little sorcerer.
Were we able to upgrade the sword last time?
No, that never happens.
Yeah, but the ability is there, so hopefully we get that pretty soon.
Yeah. It does call itself. Oh jeez. Oh no.
Oh, no!
Right at the edge.
Stare at the upgrade too.
Yeah. If I died on the other side of it, everything would have been fine. Yeah, I also haven't figured out the consequences of losing a life. Or running out of lives, rather.
You kill this little wizard guy. Why don't we find a safe place and we'll...
Yeah, I'll just find a safe place in the Castlevania game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this episode is going to be 5 hours long because there are no safe places in this game.
I suppose I could pause.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Alright. Good night.
Good night.